Good evening and welcome to SunSet News this Thursday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. In the news tonight, according to the information from the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, as of March 2026, there were currently 54 Namibians in Southeast Asia who have fallen victim to human trafficking and forced labor in so-called scam factories. According to available information, an estimated 53 Namibian nationals who were previously involved in fraud-related activities in Thailand are said to have fled to Cambodia. However, this figure has yet to be officially confirmed, State Secretary Ndita Nyipondoka Robiati told the Network Media Hub in response to an inquiry. One Namibian national is still in Myanmar and has not yet been repatriated to Namibia. The repatriation process is currently pending review by the International Organization for Migration. The ministry confirmed that those individuals who received return assistance from the IOM were officially vetted and classified as victims of human trafficking, which justified their return to Namibia. The ministry is actively collaborating with the IOM to facilitate the repatriation of Namibian citizens, a partnership that has yielded positive results since its inception in 2024, said Nyipondoka Robiati. This ongoing commitment underscores the ministry's dedication to ensuring the safe and efficient return of nationals who are abroad, often under difficult circumstances, she continued. The support provided by the IOM has proven invaluable as it only covers the logistical aspects of repatriation, but also offers assistance in navigating the complexities of international migration policy. In recent months, there has been a surge in incidents where young people from Southern Africa were lured to Thailand with fake, lucrative job offers and then trafficked from there to Myanmar to work in fraud factories where they were forced to work as online scammers. From there, victims often have to pay their way out unless local authorities intervene. Getting into our next story, Henk Mudge, president of the Republican Party of Namibia, has made an impassioned plea to all Namibians and to the governments of Botswana and South Africa to intervene to ensure that in situ leach mining for uranium in the area of the transnational Stampriet aquifer are not allowed to be continued. He insists that the mining method will contaminate the essential water source shared by southern Namibia, western Botswana and the Northern Cape region of South Africa. Let's take a look.
Take this message forward, mentioning specifically Cabinet and the governments of Namibia and Botswana and South Africa. I stand before you not merely as the President of the Republican Party of Namibia. I stand before you as a Namibian, as a person whose roots are in this dry and beautiful land, as someone who has watched generations of farming families build their lives around a single, irreplaceable gift from the earth beneath our feet, the Stampriet Artesian Basin. Today I'm asking every Namibian, every person in this region, every conscience in the world to listen carefully to what is happening in the southeastern part of our country. Because what is being proposed here, and if it's allowed to proceed, will not only harm us, it will harm our children, it will harm our grandchildren, and it will harm people in Botswana and South Africa who drink from the same underground water body that we do, without ever knowing that a decision made in would seal their fate.
Now, a former Noordgrens secondary school teacher dismissed for allegedly striking a learner on the buttocks and for misconduct has successfully challenged his dismissal, with Labour arbitrator Aldrin Munembo ruling on the 15th of March that the termination was procedurally unfair. The arbitrator ordered that the school pay former teacher Hendrik Bronner just over 977,000 Namibian dollars in lost earnings and other accrued benefits, including severance pay. Bronner, who had taught at the Rundu school since 2003, was dismissed in October of 2022 following allegations that he struck a learner and over misconduct dating back to 2020. The incident allegedly occurred in class when the learner, then in grade 9, approached Bronner during a geography lesson. He allegedly struck her once on the back and once on the buttocks, according to evidence presented at a hearing. Classmates supported the account at the disciplinary hearing, with the learner saying she was left distressed. Bronner was issued a verbal warning in October of 2020, valid suspended for 6 months and was removed from his position as a volleyball coach. This warning was recorded and acknowledged by school authorities. However, in August 2022, more than a year later, the Education Ministry formally charged Bronner on the same matter, leading to a disciplinary hearing on the 20th of October 2022 and his eventual dismissal. Bronner appealed the dismissal to the Labour Commissioner's office, arguing that the disciplinary process was flawed. According to Monembo's arbitration ruling, the actions of the respondent constituted unfair procedures and unfair labour practice as well as double jeopardy. Monembo noted that Bronner had previously been issued a verbal warning for the same incident, yet was charged again in 2022 on the same allegations without new evidence warranting fresh disciplinary action. The ruling also highlighted several procedural irregularities in how the disciplinary process was handled. Monembo further noted that the disciplinary committee ignored preliminary concerns raised by Bronner's legal team. Monembo also criticized a 2-year delay between the alleged incident and the hearing, ruling it fell short of a fair and timely process. As per the ruling, Bronner is entitled to compensation in lieu of lost earnings, including salary arrears of 27,877 Namibian dollars and 24 cents per month from his dismissal to the 25th of March, totaling just over 836,000 Namibian dollars. He is also entitled to severance pay of 1 week's salary per year for his 22 years of service, amounting to over 141,000 Namibian dollars. Government must also pay all outstanding pension contributions and accrued retirement benefits. The total amount due to Bronner is 977,000 Namibian dollars, which must be paid on or before the 30th of April. Getting into our next story, electrical copper cable theft is a bane of the Namibian electricity industry, and according to the Namibian police, the illegal activity is on the rise. Upon inquiry, NAMPOL's Criminal Investigation Directorate said that the theft of electrical cables that contain copper in Namibia can be described as an increasing phenomenon. NAMPOL insists that electrical copper cable theft needs to be treated as a serious national threat to infrastructure due to vandalism. It causes loss of service delivery and revenue for the relevant industries and has a negative effect on the economy of the country, says NAMPOL. These incidents need a holistic intervention by all stakeholders to eradicate the escalation of copper cable theft, the Namibian police said. The cases of theft have indeed increased in recent years due to the demand and high street market prices of copper, which is an attributed factor to this type of theft. Answers from the police continued. Specific statistics shared indicate that this year the Central Commerce region looks set to surpass the Irongo region as the country's copper cable theft hotspot. Specifically, in 2025, of the total 272 cases of electrical copper cable theft reported, 78 were from the Irongo region, of which 63 cases led to arrests. By mid-March 2026, 6 cases had been reported from the Irongo region and 5 arrests have been effected. While 48 cases of copper cable theft were reported in the Commerce region throughout 2025, leading to 41 arrests, 28 cases had already been reported for 2026, with 14 arrests made in this regard in the Commerce region already this year. Last year, the Kavango East region was also targeted with 37 cases reported and 8 arrests made, although so far for 2026, no cases have yet been reported there. By contrast, in Kavango West, there were no cases that were reported last year. 2 cases have been reported for 2026 so far. Other regions that experienced copper cable theft last year were Hardap, where 23 cases were reported, Karas with 16 cases, Ohangwena 19 cases, Oshikoto 24 cases, and Oshetlanjupa with 10 cases. 6 cases were also reported in the Zambezi region, 7 in Oshana, 2 for Omusati, and 2 for Omaheke. No cases have been reported in the Kunene region last year or so far in 2026. In total, 181 suspects were arrested in 2025, while 62 have been apprehended so far this year. NAMPOL continues to engage stakeholders with collaborative efforts through public awareness raising and education on the danger and consequences of such theft and vandalism of electrical copper cables. That brings us to the end of our top stories. After the break, we bring you our Story of the Day segment.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Getting into our story of the day, Elevate Uranium Limited has appointed a Namibian national as operations manager for its upgrade pilot plant program in Namibia. The company moves towards steady-state operations and targets the release of results in August 2026. The newly appointed metallurgist brings local expertise in established industry networks in engineering, equipment supply, and metallurgical support. According to the company, the strengthened leadership has already improved operating protocols and introduced a more structured approach to circuit optimization. The operational team has been further reinforced with additional Namibian metallurgical personnel to support consistent plant performance and the generation of high-quality data. Managing Director Mary Hill has been in country throughout March and April and will continue to provide day-to-day oversight as the company works toward achieving steady-state operations. Elevate noted that it has made significant advances in recent weeks, including reinforcing standard operating procedures and identifying mechanical and electrical modifications to enhance circuit performance. The company confirmed that the previously announced bench-scale test work results remain valid and are not affected by delays in the pilot plant reaching steady-state conditions. Following a detailed review of the program, Elevate now expects to release pilot plant results in August of 2026. This timeline reflects the period required to stabilize operations, optimize plant configuration, and process ore through the circuit. The pilot plant is designed to demonstrate the company's proprietary upgrade beneficiation process, which aims to upgrade uranium ore before downstream processing to support future technical studies. Elevate stated that it remains fully funded and positioned to deliver representative results as it advances its Namibian uranium projects. Stay with us. Right after the break, we bring you the latest in economic news.
Life is unpredictable and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as $50 Namibian a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
Headlining our economic news, the Namibia Revenue Agency has collected a cumulative $407 billion Namibian dollars in revenue since its establishment in 2020, Founding Commissioner Sam Shivute announced at the agency's Taxpayer Appreciation Day in Swakopmund this week. Shivute highlighted a clear turnaround from the pre-NAMRA era when the Department of Inland Revenue and the Customs and Excise Directorate, both under the Ministry of Finance, struggled to exceed $50 billion Namibian dollars in annual collections. Before NAMRA started, we did not collect revenue of more than 50 billion Namibian dollars. The first time the revenue target we hit was 52 billion Namibian dollars, and from there, the revenue was just growing. Last year, we were talking about 88 billion Namibian dollars cumulatively. You're talking about 407 billion Namibian dollars, he said. Over its 5 years, NAMRA posted total growth of 53.1% from its first year of operation, translating to a compound annual growth rate of 8.9%, more than double Namibia's average real economic growth of roughly 3.5% over the same period. The broader economy, which contracted sharply by 8.1% in 2020 during the COVID-19 downturn, subsequently recovered at annual rates of between 1.7 and 5.4%, never approaching the agency's sustained pace. The growth from the first year until now is 53.1%. That is the growth, but if you also look at the compound growth rate, we are likely talking about 8.9%. In our economy over the past 5 years, there was never a time it grew at 8.9%, Shivute said. NAMRA's collections have consistently exceeded the cost of running the state's core obligations. After accounting for its own operating costs of approximately 4.1 billion Namibian dollars, the agency contributed 353 billion Namibian dollars towards government salaries and statutory commitments over the period, revenues that underwrote the bulk of public expenditure. For the 2025-2026 fiscal year, NAMRA surpassed its treasury set target, collecting 81.1 billion Namibian dollars against a goal of 79 billion Namibian dollars. In our next story, Namibia is steadily increasing local food production, but the country still depends heavily on imports to meet national consumption, figures presented in Parliament show. Speaking during the State of the Nation address this week, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah said the government aims to reduce reliance on imported food by 8% by 2030. She pointed out that white maize production more than doubled last season, reaching 69,541 metric tons, covering roughly 31% of national consumption. Wheat and other cereals also contributed to growing local production, with 609 hectares of wheat planted, generating about 10.5 million Namibian dollars worth of produce. Nandi-Ndaitwah noted that the livestock sector remains a key source of employment, supporting approximately 70% of the population. It provides more than 45,000 jobs in primary production and an additional 12,000 technical roles. The sector also contributes to export earnings, with agricultural products valued at 2 billion Namibian dollars shipped abroad, primarily table grapes and tomatoes. The president outlined government support measures including subsidized seeds, fertilizers, irrigation solutions and services as plowing, planting and weeding. Large-scale initiatives such as the planned 130,000 hectares of productive land are underway, alongside investments in ventures like a joint salmon farming project on the southern coast, projected to produce between 1,000 and 51,000 tons over 7 years, with an estimated 2.5 million Namibian dollar investment. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 21.95 against the British pound, 19.12 against the euro, 16.39 to the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 40 cents Baijiu, 1 Chinese yuan. All commodities are up, with Brent crude oil taking the biggest upturn, now trading at $101 and 3 cents per barrel. Stay with us. Right after this, we bring you our latest in the international news segment.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit. Partner. Experience. Creative sport tourism.
Headlining our international news, a man has admitted stabbing 4 young children to death at a kindergarten in Uganda, saying he believed killing them as human sacrifices would make him wealthy, prosecutors said Wednesday. The defendant, Christopher Okello Onyum, 39, who holds both Ugandan and American citizenship, appeared in court to have the charges formally put to him. Now, he is thought to have gained access to the kindergarten by posing as a parent before attacking children with a knife, killing 4 of them ranging in age from 15 months to 2.5. The attack sparked outrage in the African Great Lakes nation, with an angry crowd attempting to lynch him before his arrest. The indictment read in court said Onyum recorded a charge and caution statement wherein he confessed to killing all the deceased children. It said a medical assessment found his thought processes were normal, but he believed in wealth by human sacrifice and explained the killings as a means of fortune hunting or enrichment. Victims' relatives present for the hearing jeered at the defendant, who did not react. Now, the kindergarten catered for malnourished and vulnerable children aged between 3 months and 3 years, the indictment said. The prosecutor's office said the evidence in the case will show the accused had carefully planned the offense over several days before he launched a violent and sustained attack on the children within the facility. A medical assessment has confirmed that the accused is mentally fit to stand trial, prosecutors said. Last week, Uganda's Army Chief Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the son of President Yoweri Museveni, said, "We shall push for the death sentence for this criminal." Onyum was remanded in custody pending his trial, for which no date has been set yet. In our next story, Nigeria has begun the prosecution of more than 500 people accused of involvement in militant attacks in one of the country's largest ever terrorism trials. The suspects face charges linked to aiding and abetting terrorism, particularly in the northeast, where an insurgency by the Boko Haram Islamist group began 17 years ago. Since the insecurity has spread to many other areas of the West African nation, leaving communities, often those in rural areas, at the mercy of mushrooming militant groups and gangs that kidnap for ransom. The mass trial opened on Tuesday at a high court in the capital Abuja, where 227 suspects were arraigned before 10 judges, according to the Attorney General. Hundreds of people have lost their lives in bombings and various attacks across Nigeria this year alone. Very few people are ever prosecuted over terror attacks, and suspects are often detained and spend years in custody without facing trial. According to the AFP news agency, gunmen killed at least 20 people on Wednesday in the western state of Niger. Residents say the attackers raided villages in Shiroro district, an area where kidnapping gangs and Islamist militants are known to operate. Security was tight during the court session on Tuesday, with suspects transported in heavily guarded convoys under military, police, and intelligence supervision. International observers, including human rights groups in the Nigerian Bar Association, were also present in the court. The defendants are alleged to have taken part in attacks mainly in northern Nigeria, while others face charges of supporting militants through funding, supplying arms, and logistics. Before we say goodbye, let's take a quick look. We do apologize for that. We have run out of time. And with that, we've come to the end of today's broadcast. I am Diana Master, and this has been SunSet News. Don't end your day without us.